Guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to properly time and install a Surefire muzzle brake. So to get started, what we have to do is we have to take off our existing muzzle device, and then we have to properly clean the thread. So I have already taken off this Surefire War Comp that I had on previously, and then I cleaned the threads with brake parts cleaner, scrubbed them with a nylon brush, and then put some compressed air on these threads to make sure that they're properly dried out. So now that we have our threads completely cleaned and degreased, the first step we have to do is install our flat face washer. So installing this flat faced washer ensures that the additional shims that we may have to use to perfectly time this muzzle device are sitting flat and not lopsided one way or other on the barrel. So the shoulder of this barrel may not be completely flat all the way around. So this chamfered washer goes on the barrel to ensure that those shims are properly seated so that there's no contricity issues with those rounds coming out. Especially once we put our can on, we don't want that muzzle device tilted in any way that could send around and cause us to have a baffle strike. So we put our flat face washer in here, and now we have to see how our muzzle device is timed with just the flat faced washer installed. So odds are the muzzle device is not going to be properly aligned, and in this case mine is not. So what we want to do is we want to see where it stops naturally with just the first flat face shim installed. And then what we want to do is we want to rotate this thing to about a 530 positioning with the suppressor lug down at the bottom. We want it at about 530, which is about right there. So with the muzzle device and all the shims, they provide you this user manual that has a chart that shows you where the suppressor is positioned. It'll tell you how many shims you need to use, and it's pretty accurate. But I do a simpler method than that. What I personally do is I get my muzzle device where I want it, and then I just take various shims and I try to fill in the gap and see what is needed, what fits, and go from there. The wheel, it gets you close, but I think this is a better method. So for an example, just to start off, I have a couple very thin shims right here, and I'm going to see that space, and you can tell that there is a lot of space left over even when adding these little shims right here. So I'm going to step it up. They have different kind of shims, a red, a green, and then a no color shim. So the green is the thickest, red's the second thickest, and then the no colors are the thinnest. So you just see what you need based on that. So from what I can tell, I need this green shim to properly align this muzzle device. Just one green shim in addition to the flat face washer that's already on here. So I'm going to unscrew my muzzle device. I'm going to add my green shim, and I'm going to see what we look like with those two things on there. Okay, so we are pretty close. I think that's about perfect. So why am I stopping this at the 530 position? Well, we do not want to add shims that align this muzzle device perfectly up and down, because we're going to have to come in here, we're going to have to apply torque to properly secure this to the barrel. So we're using about 20 to 30 foot-pounds of torque, somewhere in between there. So if we offset it, once we torque it down, it'll be perfectly lined up. So that's why we're going for this 530 positioning on the muzzle device. With the Surefire muzzle device that we have here, we just need a standard armor's wrench. So I'm going to torque this thing down to roughly 30 foot-pounds. And that's pretty close. My vise slipped a little bit. I need to get a beefier vise for what I'm trying to do with this type stuff right here. But for today, it's going to work fine. So I was right at about 30 foot-pounds, and I'm almost lined up perfectly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back it off and make sure that all my threads look okay, and I'm going to retighten it. And just get those threads meshed together nicely. And that's lined up perfectly. Now that we have confirmed our fitment, what we need to do next is apply our Rocksett. So I'm going to apply Rocksett because this is going to be a permanent muzzle device for this gun. I don't ever plan to change it again. So I'm going to put the Rocksett on there so that it does not come off. Like when I'm trying to remove my suppressor, or if the gun gets really hot after a long string of fire or something, I don't want that muzzle device to start backing off and allow any alignment issues with my suppressor. So I'm just going to Rocksett it and never worry about it again. So we have our Rocksett right here. We're going to apply a little bit, just a light coating around these threads and a light coating on the inside threads of the muzzle device itself. All right. And the muzzle device itself. Okay, that should do it. And now we have to act fairly quickly. Get everything lined up appropriately. Get our torque wrench back on it. And we'll line it up. We'll make sure we are aligned. I think I need to go a tad bit further. Just a hair more. And that looks perfect. Now that we have everything lined up properly, we're going to let this sit for 24 hours before we shoot it, and it should be good to go from then on out. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope it helped you out a little bit. When I installed my first one, there weren't many good videos on YouTube, so hopefully this one explains a few things and helps you guys out. So thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video.